Hi, Daniel here. So let's talk about China, right? In particular, let's talk about whether or not China will ever become a global leader of the world. So, will China ever become a global leader of the world like that of the United States? Nah, I doubt so, right? And here's why. Well, there's a very high probability that China will overtake the United States in terms of its economic size and even possibly rival against the US in the area of military power based on the political and economic system that China is currently operating under, hashtag communism. I doubt China will ever become a global leader due to the fact that it lacks the influence of which the US had built over the last century. Right? After World War One and World War Two, the US had played a huge part in global recovery, and because of that, they have built up a reputation and an influence across the entire world, which is what brought them to where they are today. Now, on the other hand, China lacks the influence, the trust, and the acceptance from pretty much most of the countries in the world, right? And while everybody understood the potential economic gain of cooperating and trading with China, becoming a global leader goes beyond just economic incentive. The idea of democracy and freedom is the key thing that created an environment that allowed the US developments to take off to where they are today. But in the case of China, where it operates purely from a top-down management, the very democracy and the freedom of its people and entrepreneurs are, for a lack of a better word, easily controlled and manipulated by the very leaders that sit on the top. And that is often not an ideal environment that breeds innovation, sustainable growth, and success, right? From a systematic view standpoint, a top-down approach can also work, but it relies heavily on the abilities, the influence, and even the moral compass of its very leaders that sit on the top. And this opens up the system to a lot of risk of failure as a result of things like corruption, incompetence, inefficiencies, so on and so forth. Which is also the reason why you realize that most developed countries today did not get to where they are by adopting a top-down political and economic system, right? Given that this top-down political and economic system is the minority across the entire world, even if, say, China has the abilities to make their system work for some reason, right? I find it extremely difficult for other countries who operates based on a very different belief, values, political and economic system to just embrace China as their global leader or as their leader in general, right? So, all that being said, I doubt we'll ever see a day where China becomes the global leader of the world like that of the United States, unless, for some reason, they change their system to one that is familiar, widely accepted and embraced by others, and also they change their reputation and how they are being perceived by the world. As currently, when the name China comes up, I'm sure most of us have only negative things that we associate with China, right? Now, does it matter though, to us as investors of businesses, that China becomes a global leader? Now, in my opinion, the answer to this question is yes, it may matter, but not as much as people often think it matters, right? Especially in the long run. Let me explain. At the end of the day, as investors and business owners, the key to our success lies in the prosperity of the very businesses that we own and we invest in, right? And as all businesses grows, the bloodline of every businesses lies in the ability to generate revenue and earnings either by acquiring new clients or having repeated business from their existing clients, and ideally you want to have both, right? Having said that, whether China becomes a global leader or not is not as important as compared to the size, the strength, and the efficiency of its domestic market. In other words, I don't really care whether China have a global influence as long as its domestic market remains strong, remains stable, and can generate a sustainable level of revenue and earnings that I need for my business and investments to prosper. Now that is what matters, right? That is what matters to us as investors. That's what we call the bottom line, right? That being said, of course, if China was to become a global leader like the US, businesses will have a much easier time doing businesses in and out of China and with its partners. We cannot deny the fact that the US had benefited greatly from their position as a global leader and having the luxury of their currency, the USD, to be the global currency, right? If any country were to behave like how the US had behaved, now those countries would have been long consumed and destroyed by inflation. Okay? Personally, I believe that China's market is too big to ignore, and the long-term structural forces and mega trends such as a rising middle income class, higher gross domestic product per capita, higher urbanization rate will continue to strengthen the size and the strength of China's economy. However, China being China, there will definitely be hiccups along the way as the government experiments with different forms of policies that are restrictive, like what we see with the tech crackdown or regulatory crackdown in 2021, and also at times kind of extractive, with all the talks of having common prosperity in attempts to strengthen their global position, right? And unfortunately, as investors, these are the key political risk or key risk that we have to deal with if we want to participate in the largest market and economy of the future. Long story short, does it matter to us as investors if China becomes a global leader? The answer is no. It does not matter as long as China's market and economy remains strong and stable, as those are the prerequisites that businesses need to survive and to prosper. Of course, if by any chance China do become a global leader, it will make things so much easier for investors and businesses, but that should be seen like a bonus rather than a prerequisite for any investment decision involving China. Right, so that's all I have on this topic itself. So what do you think? Right, do you think China will become a global leader? And do you think it matters to you as an investor? Now share with me your thoughts by dropping me a comment on this video. And also do let me know if you have any other topics that you might want me to voice my opinion on. Together, I hope to create a platform for active discussion which could reduce our blindside and biasness as investors. Now, also smash the like button and subscribe to this channel if you haven't do so already, right, to stay updated with future video. That's all, and I'll see you in the next video.